Chapter 10. This was it. I was finally going to know his full name. I knew that I wasn't going to be able to wager much against him, and considered asking for my freedom, but I knew that asking for it was going to be out of the question. Instead, I asked for his first name, allowing a part of my mind to be put to rest, knowing who I would be dealing with. Mr. Wells was still trying to catch his breath. Now, I think that was an unfair advantage. I don't think all the cards were on the table, Mr. Wells began to say through gasps of air. My breathing was slightly elevated, but brought back to normal with some breathing exercises. I know for a fact that I told you that I was a speed swimmer, I started to say. Not of this caliber, Mr. Wells answered back, clearly annoyed that he had lost. If I might add, sir, I also tried to tell you, Miles piped in. Mr. Wells shot an evil glance his way to shut Miles up. Mr. Wells looked like he was at a loss for words. I'm not sure how many times someone had beaten him before. He sighed and slapped the water hard, hitting me in the face. I wiped the water from my face. I wasn't too fazed by it. Karen, go swim like 10 laps, now, Mr. Wells said sternly and loudly. I looked at him with a look of confusion and disgust. Are you seriously not going to hold up your end of the bargain? I asked. Go, he yelled. His yell made me feel sick to my stomach, but my blood was burning. I just shook my head as I looked at him in disgust and used my arms to pull myself out of the pool. Where are you going? He asked. To my room, I said. I told you to swim. Yeah, so you can act like a sore loser who can't deal with a little friendly competition. I peeled off the swim cap and goggles and slammed it on the ground in frustration. I put on the housecoat and covered my wet body and stormed off back to my room. This is completely uncalled for, he said. That was an order I gave you. No, actually, my actions are not uncalled for, I said, and left. To be fair, sir, Miles began to say, I would have acted the same given the circumstance. Mr. Wells sighed heavily, trying to gain his composure back as he climbed out of the water. Towel, sir? Miles asked. Yes, Mr. Wells said bitterly. I didn't run to my room, but I defiably walked fast. When I finally reached my room and closed the door behind me, I tried to lock it, but realized I couldn't. There was one room that I could lock, though. The bathroom. Before walking into the bathroom, I sifted quickly through the closet to find clothes that I could sleep in. After that, I walked into the bathroom and shut and locked the door behind me. I took off my clothes, coat, and bathing suit and prepared myself to shower. I really wish there was a normal shower in here. I was also waiting for one of the doors to open at any moment. I wasn't exactly kind and my voice was raised. I feared the repercussions that would probably follow my actions. However, talking about people who were sore losers made my mind go off on tangents of anger. He's arrogant, rich, annoying, damn sore loser, I hissed as I washed myself. I washed myself quickly so I could just climb into the bathtub and forget about what had just happened. I ignored washing my hair. It had just been washed prior. It barely got wet from being in the swim cap. I quickly washed my body and slowly climbed into the large tile tub and sat down. This was painful. To live with a man I could never beat because he would act like a 4-year-old child having a temper tantrum. I thought to myself, I only had to deal with it for 100 days, then I could go home, I would see my family, I would see my pets, I would become an Olympian. so long as I had the ability to practice. There was a knock on the door, a soft one. In my mind, I wanted to say, "Go away," but I didn't. I held my breath and held myself underwater. I didn't want to deal with him quite yet. I heard a voice say something, but it was muffled from being underwater. I came up for air. "Karen, just open the door, please." It was Mr. Wells. I really didn't want to talk with him right now. "I'm not exactly in the mood to talk," I said angrily. "Please, can I come in?" "Are you going to tell me your first name?" I asked. There was a pause. "No," he answered. "But there are reasons I can't. You just have to understand. I led you on. I never thought that you would actually have beaten me," he pleaded. "Then you straight out lied. When I wagered my bet against you, I thought if I won, maybe, just maybe, I could wager my freedom to be set free. But I knew that was going to be too much to ask for. So I asked for something simple. Something I thought I could be given. But no. You acted like a 4-year-old child and yelled at me. Why would I want to talk to you right now? You lied to me," I yelled. "I am sorry. I would let you go if I could, but I just can't," he said much quieter. I heard a click on the door. Damn it. He has a key. Was there no privacy for me when he had a key to every door in the house? He opened the door and stood in the doorway. I looked the other way, trying not to pay attention to him. "It is purely precaution why I don't tell anyone my first name," he started to speak. "It will be safer for you in the end if you don't know. What would happen if you were to say my name when you were not supposed to in front of people? I take pride in privacy among others," he said. "If my name were to be turned against me, you are put in danger amongst this underground world." He was trying to sugarcoat it and avoid the reason why he didn't want to tell me his name. "What's the real reason why you won't tell me?" I asked. "Why do you need the real reason?" he replied. "Why won't you tell me?" I asked back. "Tell me the reason why, and I will use that as my award for winning that pathetic excuse for a race," I said. He was silent. "Fine, I'll tell you why. By telling you my name, I give away a portion of my will to submission. I am the dominant in this relationship. I will not submit so easily." His voice sounded hurt. There was definitely more to it. I didn't think it was a good enough reason, but I didn't want to hear it any more. What was the point if he wasn't going to tell me his name anyways? "Whatever," I said under my breath and blew bubbles into the water. I took breaths through my nose to try and calm myself down. He came behind me and rested his cold hands on my shoulders. He gently massaged them. "Are you trying to make me feel better about this?" I asked. Annoyance still clung to my voice. "Yes," he said. "Despite what you might think, I don't want my submissives hating me," answered Mr. Wells. I sighed. He stood up and walked over to the vanity, pulling the wide-toothed comb from it, and walked back over. He pulled the ponytail out of my hair and worked through the knots. "Did you even wash your hair?" he said quietly. "It was washed," I answered, not saying that it was washed prior to the pool. "You could have fooled me with these knots," he said back. "It's the ponytail, and I wasn't exactly in the mood to really care," I said to him. He finished working out the tangles, and I slumped underneath the water again. "Could you just leave me alone tonight?" I asked. "I just feel like I haven't had enough privacy today, and I need introvert time." Mr. Wells was silent. "Okay," he agreed. Just please dry your hair before bed, he said softly, and left. He didn't even say goodbye. I dunked myself underwater again and let out all my air, screaming so it was muffled. I continued this pattern until I was out of breath. I stared at the ceiling. I was starting to feel warm. There were reasons why lifeguards told people not to put their head underwater in hot water. I sat on the side of the tub, dangling my legs in the water for a minute before getting out, grabbing the towel that I'd thrown on the floor prior. Tomorrow would be where it all starts, 100 days, and then I would be free. I had to keep that in mind before thinking of everything else. Tomorrow, I would probably lose my virginity, the thing I was told to keep dear to me, and the thing I was supposed to give to the person I loved on our wedding night. Now, I wouldn't be able to give it to them. I scrounged around for more things. Where would I find a toothbrush? I looked in drawers around the sink until I found one, along with a toothpaste. I brushed my teeth, and I was quite tired. I really didn't feel like drying my hair. I didn't feel like putting the effort into it. What would Mr. Wells do to me tomorrow if I went to bed with my wet hair? Would he even notice? I towel dried my hair as much as I could, combing through it with my hands. He probably would notice. It seemed that he had an OCD factor attached to him, especially when it came to appearance. He just noticed things that no one else would think to look at. He was a controlling man. I pulled out the hairdryer to look like I'd used it and set it on the bathroom counter, plugged in. Instead of drying my hair, I combed through it and put it in the tight, messy bun instead. Was I testing the waters? I left the bathroom, and no one was in my bedroom, thankfully. I walked towards my bed, and there was a glass of water and 3 pills for me to take. Would I be even more rebellious if I didn't take them? What if he was giving me pills to brainwash me? I took the pills and walked back to the bathroom to flush them down the toilet in defiance. I drank the glass of water and set it on the side of the bed and crawled in. What was going to happen tomorrow? I covered myself with the covers, thinking of what was going to happen. It kept me up for the latter half of the night. It was 3 a.m. before I felt like my body finally fell asleep. But it wasn't a restful sleep. It wasn't restful at all.